Mr. Speaker, sir. I kind of empathize with my colleague's view about the perpetrator and the identity of the perpetrator. I think it seems that the process has been very robust. The COI has been thorough, rigorous, public, transparent, open. I think this will go some ways to restore public confidence on the incident itself. Recommendations strengthening the fence, the vault, and everything. But how about the person who actually broke into the house? There seems to be a vacuum as far as the sense of justice. I'm sure the calibration was well considered, but perhaps the Minister can share more the considerations of the government of not revealing who the perpetrator is.
Mr. Speaker, I think the member's question, if I can put it in a broader context. First, this incident has occurred, and I think the basic question we got to ask ourselves is, how do we ensure that Singaporeans continue to have trust and confidence in our public sector systems, IT systems and databases? Because it's inevitable when you have an incident like this, it will raise such qualms and questions. And I would say that in deriving a sense of confidence, our citizens should be looking at the totality of our response and not focus on one particular aspect of the response. And let me elaborate by what I mean. Firstly, why do we collect data and have these IT systems? Because they enable all these services, conveniences that we take for granted, whether it is in our transportation system, our healthcare system, in our dealings with various other government agencies. The fact that we can transact with ease and convenience is because it is enabled by data and IT systems that we have. So firstly, we are doing this because we want to serve the interests of citizens. The second point I would make is, directly as a result of this, we should be looked at in terms of what is our response been, government's response to this. And in that regard, I would highlight a few things. Firstly, we made the knowledge of the cyber attack public within days. If I recall correctly, 10 days after it was brought to the attention of CSA. I think it was the 10th of July that was brought to the attention of CSA, and on the 20th of July, we had a press conference, Minister Gan and I, and we announced it and shared it with members of the public. Why do we do that? Because we want to demonstrate that we are transparent, and we want to ensure that all Singaporeans understand that we've got nothing to hide here. We want to get to the bottom of it as much as Singaporeans do. Thirdly, if you look at our response thereafter, we appointed a committee of inquiry. Why do we appoint a committee of inquiry? Because the government wants a robust and transparent investigation and inquiry into the matter. Not because we want to lay fault, although if there are those who have committed or have been negligent, who have been egregious, then they have to be held accountable. But also because we want to learn from this, understand what went wrong, and rectify and build. And so if you look at the COI report, we have released all the recommendations and findings in full in the public version. The only part that's been held back are those that pertain to sensitive national security matters and also patient confidentiality. Everything else is out there, unvarnished, stark, but very clear on what we need to get done. So again, I think if you contrast what we have done with the responses in other domains by different parties, I think we can hold ourselves up to the best practices and standards in terms of how we've responded. And finally, what is the actions we have taken? Apart from actions against individuals, we have taken actions against the organizations, and we have also undertaken a slew of activities and measures in order to further strengthen our cybersecurity system. Some informed by the COI, others that our agencies have already been working on. So that is the totality of our response. And I don't think we should reduce whether we have confidence and a sense of justice to just one specific point, that there's no public attribution of the perpetrator. I can understand that members have a desire, and on behalf of their constituents, to know this, but I think we have to exercise judgment. What is in our national interest, and whether a public attribution serves our best interests. And as I said, we know who the perpetrator is. Appropriate action has been taken.